Hey Team Kinetic, Chantelle here with another stretch video. Today I'm going to use my myofascial release ball, which basically is just a fancier ball that's similar in pressure to a lacrosse ball, but you can also use a tennis ball. Okay, so I actually picked this up at Winners Home Sense for like $8 a few years ago, and it's awesome. It's pretty firm, so it's going to give me a bit of a deeper release in the tissues of my muscle, in my fascia, more than a tennis ball. So if you don't want a lot of pressure, a tennis ball is actually a better option. And then I'm going to be using my flex band. We saw these at Kinetic. These are the ones that we use in the studio for some upper and lower body stretch. So I'm going to start with the band, and I'm going to start in a standing position. Okay, I'll be holding everything for about 30 seconds to a minute long. So we'll kind of do this in real time. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is stand on your band, and you want a relatively short end to the band. The shorter I make the band, the more tension and more release I'm going to get in the stretch. Okay, so I'm going to stand up nice and tall and hold that band in my hand. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my head off to the side, away from the banded side. And I want to lower this shoulder down towards the floor so that I get my upper trapezius muscle to lengthen back out. So again, to modify this stretch, I raise my head up a little bit taller, and to intensify the stretch, and to intensify my stretch, I drop my head off to the side. Okay, so basically you can hold this for anywhere between 15 and 30 seconds, upwards to a minute if you like. And if you want to make the stretch go a little bit further, you can also tuck your chin down into the chest on the opposite side of the body, and you'll bring a little bit more length. Again, for me personally, my neck is so tight that I actually want to get a bit deeper of a stretch here, so I'm going to make that band even shorter so that it's pulling my arm down towards the floor even more, and I'm going to tuck my chin. Big inhales. And as you exhale, you want to drop that shoulder a little lower, and you want to vision the muscle becoming longer. Another big inhale here. Big exhale, lower that shoulder. Good, we'll hold just a couple more moments. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring your head back up to center and release. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So you're standing on the band with the same side of the body. You're standing on it with that foot. Create tension. Stand up nice and tall with that spine, and then drop your head off to the side. Lower that shoulder to the floor. Remember that both sides of your body are not always equal, and so the tension or the release that you need is not going to be the same usually on both sides. Again, you can draw that chin in towards the chest and lengthen the trapezius even more. Remember, with a stretch, you never want to feel pain, and there is definitely such a thing as overstretching, and so just make sure you're not going to that place. Big inhale. Big exhale, try to drop that shoulder, feel the muscle lengthen. Big inhale. Big exhale. And relax. Good, 10 more seconds here. Good, and bring that head back up to center. You can do a couple of neck rolls there if you like, tucking your chin into your chest, dropping that head to the back, and rounding it to the front. Go a couple more times in this direction, and then switch direction. The neck is such a sensitive part of your body. It's holding up your big head. And so it takes a lot of stress and beating. All right. Okay, so our next stretch here is gonna be to lengthen the upper cervical spine. And so basically that's this portion from the bottom of your neck to the top of your back. So we're gonna take your band so it's nice and broad and wrap it around the back of your head, okay? And then what you're gonna do is grab the band in two hands, tuck your chin into your chest, and then you're gonna gently pull on that band, okay? Tuck the chin into the chest, and take a big inhale here. Big exhale. Vision that spine getting longer on every exhale you take. To make this stretch go deeper, you're just gonna hold the band a little bit closer to your head and pull just a little bit further. You decide on how much stretch and pull that you want to give to the neck here. Not too much so that you feel any kind of twinge or pain. Good, big inhale. One more time here, big inhale, fill the lungs up. Big exhale, and relax. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna come to a seated position. And so take a seat on the floor or on your mat. Again, with the broad side of the band, wrap the band around the bottom of your feet, and then grab a hold of the band in both hands. You want to roll the shoulders back, sit up nice and tall to start, and then you're going to lower your chest to your legs, pointing your toes towards your body, bringing stretch and length to the hamstrings, through to the calves. To make this stretch go deeper, you're just going to hold the band down a little closer to your feet, and that's going to give you a bit more tension against the band to pull. Lower that chest. You can come in and out of this stretch as much as you see fit if the hamstrings are just like feeling like a little bit overwhelmed while you're in the stretch. Otherwise, just hold. We're gonna be here for another 45 seconds. Big inhale. Big exhale. Try to extend out at that knee as much as you possibly can. On every exhale, try to lower the chest. 30 seconds here. Relax the muscles in your face. Relax your jaw. Take the tension away from your forehead. Big inhale. Big exhale. Let's do one more big inhale. And big exhale. Perfect. Come on up to seated. Okay, we're gonna cross your feet, cross your legs, and grab the band about yay far. Take it behind your back. We're gonna pull your hands away from each other so your elbows are fully extended, and then we're gonna drop your chin into your chest. What we're doing here is we're creating space in the upper back muscles. And so we're creating distance between the shoulder blades. And again, we're also kind of tapping into that cervical spine. To make this stretch more intense and to stretch at your upper back muscles and neck a little bit further, all you want to do is bring your hands a little closer on the band so it's harder to pull them away from each other. Okay, it's going to create even more tension. And just make sure you find stability in pulling your hands apart so they're not kind of jumping around behind your back. You want to really have stability as you hold that band taut. You can try tucking your chin down into the left of your chest and into the right of your chest and back to center. We'll hold for 10 more seconds. Big inhale. Big exhale. Good. Big inhale. Big exhale. Release the tension on your hands first, and then release your head. Okay? Awesome. Just relax the shoulders for a second. We're going to take the band behind your back again. This time, you're going to anchor one hand to the floor, okay? And then you're going to stretch your other arm up, okay? And so what you're doing is your elbows are both fully extended, and you're looking up at the top hand, and now you're creating length to the top shoulder, stretching out that top shoulder. Again, if you're kind of wiggling around, which is what I'm doing right now, I'm gonna just create more distance between my hands. It's too tight. My shoulder joint can't maintain that. So I'm gonna let it out a little bit. Think of pulling this top shoulder back, kind of opening the chest to the sky, and you'll feel a stretch at your pectoralis muscles as well. Hold this stretch here. Breathe in, breathe out. 2 more breaths like that. Breathe in, breathe out. 1 more breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Come back to center, kind of release the tension on your hands for a second, and then you're going to anchor that opposite hand to the floor and stretch that opposite arm up. Hold that arm up there and then gently open the shoulder to the back. If that doesn't feel okay, you could just stack that wrist back above the shoulder. Big inhale. Big exhale. Big inhale. Big exhale. 1 more, big inhale. Big exhale. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, release the hand and then come back up to start. Good stuff. Okay, we're gonna wrap this band around one of your feet. Lay down on the floor with your opposite foot flat. Again, you want the band on its broad side. Then you're gonna reach up the band as far as you like. The more you reach up the band closer to your feet, the deeper the stretch. And then the less you reach up the band, the less intense the stretch will be. Flexing your toes down, so pointing your toes towards you will allow that stretch to go into your calves. And then keeping the foot a little bit more neutral, we'll just focus on the hamstrings. Focus on extending out at your knee, but again, don't feel like you have to fully straighten your knee if you don't have the flexibility there, or if that brings too much tension to the hamstring. We're just gonna do a couple breaths here. So 3 breaths, big inhale. Big exhale, pull down on that band. A little more, big inhale. Big exhale. Big inhale. Big exhale. Good, we're gonna slip our opposite foot in here and do the exact same thing. Just hold, drawing that leg down towards you as much as possible. Good, big inhale here. Big exhale. Big inhale. Big exhale. Big inhale. Big exhale. Good, just a couple more seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Bend at the knee and release. There's a lot more that we can do with the band, but I'm going to save that for another stretch class. So what I'm going to do is pick up the tennis ball now, and we're going to incorporate the tennis ball, okay? So we're going to start with your feet, one of my favorite things. So you're just going to stand up, and you're either going to hold a wall for support or a railing or a chair, okay? Get that tennis ball underneath the ball of your foot, and then you're just going to begin with some circular motions, some rolling it out circular, okay? You'd be surprised how much tension you hold in those feet of yours. But you'll really figure that out once you use the ball. So once you've done kind of circular motions, you're gonna kind of go back and forth, okay? Right now we're kind of in the ball of the foot, so just below the toes, but we'll be moving that around a little bit here in a second. So these kinds of things are great for runners or for people that stand on their feet a lot for their jobs, like those beautiful frontline workers right now, getting us through this COVID-19. So it's just a really nice way to release the tension in the feet. And then you can also kind of come to the side of your foot and roll that out. Mine is just absolutely atrocious. And that comes from running and banging my feet against the pavement all the time. and then you can try the outside part, and you can even try to get into your heel. For those of you that have like Achilles issues, you may really like that. But I guess for me, my tension is mostly up in the ball of my foot and on the inner part of my foot. And so I overpronate when I run, so I kind of roll my feet to the inside. So that's why I always have so much tension on this portion of my foot. But you may roll your feet the opposite way to the outside. So you'll kind of figure out where you hold most of your tension in your feet when you play around with this. We'll switch the foot here. And again, you'll kind of see probably which leg you put more pressure on every day, or maybe which foot you push off of or drive with most on your spin or in your run. Again, we're not always equal on both sides of the body. This feels so good. It's just such a nice way to relieve tension in the bottom of your feet. Almost as good as getting a foot massage, depending on who's doing it, I guess. Let's do another 20 seconds on this foot here. Awesome. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Okay, we're gonna come down to the floor. I'm not gonna take up too much more time, so I'll just do a couple more things here with the ball, and then I'll save some other muscle groups for another video. We're gonna do your hips, and so we're gonna be side lying on the ball. So you wanna take your ball, rest it on your surface on your mat. It's nice to be on a hard surface when you're doing this rather than carpet. It'll work on carpet, but you're gonna get a better effect if you use a hard surface, okay? So I'm actually gonna put that ball right on my hip and side lie on it. And then you're gonna move it around until you find your spot. And trust me, you'll know when you find it because it doesn't feel all that awesome. It feels intense. And I found mine there. And we carry so much pressure in our hips every day. I'd say females carry maybe a little bit more in our hips over the male population, but that's not always true. Depends on what you do with your body. And what you want to do is kind of push, drop, and relax your body weight into the ball, okay? And then when you find that trigger spot, you're just gonna hold it. Just hold it, and you can kind of release it when it gets to be too much and then push back into it. Each time that you push back into it, if you are gonna try that release, you wanna try to relax your body onto that ball a little bit more. So what's happening is this is myofascial release, and so it's basically sending a signal to that part of the body to just go and oxygenate it and to bring life back to the tissue and the muscle in that area. You can almost sometimes even feel it kind of pulsating, like something's happening in there. If it radiates down your leg, it just means that things are really, really tight in there and it's just having a bit of a ricochet effect. Again, don't do this to the point of pain, release it. And this is actually one of those releases that you will feel it become less intense the longer that you hold it, the more often that you do it. It'll actually ease up your muscles, and it's quite obvious. Let's go for another moment here. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Get you to turn over and do the exact same thing on the other side. Again, find that part of your hip socket. This is the side of my body that's a lot worse. All my muscles are tighter on this one side. It's kind of my driving side for running. It's the side that I pick up and kind of lift my knee up a little bit more on when I'm running. And so everything's more intense, so it's actually really difficult for me to put my body weight down on this side. So I'm almost holding myself up with my hands a little bit more on this side and just being a little bit more patient with how I release my body weight onto the ball. Whenever things get tough in a stretch, just focus on your breathing. Big inhale, big exhale. Big inhale, big exhale. Good, big inhale, and big exhale. Awesome. We'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, release that ball. All right, we are gonna do a little bit of calves and then just a little bit more in the neck, and we'll call it a night. So take that ball and you're gonna put it right in that thick part of your gastrocnemius, that kind of that chunky part of your calf, okay? And you're just gonna rest the ball right underneath that thicker part. And just begin with some kind of left to right motion here. So you're gonna feel, it almost feels like you're rolling the ball over a ball if your calves are nice and tight, which most of us have tight calves. And then you're gonna kind of move it up and down. And this is where using your hands to kind of support your body weight, lifting your glutes off the floor really helps. And then you're gonna move that ball up and down. And you can also go left to right while you're holding your hips up and get around all the tight muscles. And then once you've done that kind of thick part of your calf, you want to move it down about halfway between that thick part of your calf and then your ankle. And again, you will be surprised at how tight this particular area will be, leading in a little bit closer to your feet. And then as you're down into the calf, you kind of want to do some external rotations of that foot and roll kind of the outside part of your calf, leading into your shin. And then internal rotations, same thing. I'm getting a bit more tension off my internal rotation here. Again, that has to do with me rolling my feet to the inside when I run. So all those things that you do with your body, you'll notice that there's a bit of a trend in the muscles. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is bring it a little bit closer to your ankle, so not quite on the ankle, but just above it, and roll that out. Awesome. This is really great for shin splints, especially if you're going on kind of that internal external rotation over the ball. So really great way to help cope with and deal with that. And then if you bring it a little bit closer to the knee on that external rotation, you'll kind of relieve some tension and pressure off the patella. So your calf muscles, your quad muscles, they all pull on the knee. And then you get all kind of a little bit of knee pain sometimes. And so if you release those muscles that are attached to the knee, you'll find that your knees get a little bit less achy, less sore. Awesome, let's go for 10 seconds here, wherever it's feeling good. 8, 7, you can also just press and hold. I kind of found a little spot that's ugly, and I'm just gonna press and hold it for the last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, and then you're just gonna come above the knee, kind of that IT band area, and you're just gonna lay down on your side again and roll that ball around until you find a bit of a pressure point. So just slightly above the knees, start there. Not feeling too much in that area, take it more into the center, kind of halfway up the inner thigh on the outer portion of the upper leg, and roll that around. I'm holding myself up and kind of getting my hips off the floor again, okay? And if you're still not finding too much there, you can try the internal. So I actually kind of like to figure 4 my legs a little bit. So both knees are bent at 90 degrees. Get that ball just above the knee and then kind of just sit right on it. I don't even need to roll. I just need to lay a bit of pressure down on the inside, and then I'm feeling all that tension. And again, a trend for me, the inner portion of my foot, the inner portion of my calf, and now the inner portion of my upper thigh. It's all kind of running up the inner side of my leg. And so that's my trend. Your trend might be on the outside. It just totally depends. And then you can kind of move that ball up a little bit closer to your adductor. So that's that inner thigh muscle. It feels a little awkward to get into the position, but when you get that ball down on there, it feels really good. I don't have too much going on in there today, but lots of people do usually when I show them how to do this one. So you can try that inner thigh muscle and see what's happening in there and see if you find any benefit. Okay, so we kind of did the calf, the external, the internal, the upper thigh, the external, the internal. And so we're going to switch legs and do the exact same series on the other side. So begin with your calf in that thick part, starting with circular motions. And then you can use your hands and kind of lift up the hips and then kind of do that up and down motion. If you flex your foot as well, so if you kind of point and flex and point and flex, it's just going to add a bit more dynamic to that stretch and myofascial release. You can start moving that ball kind of down the halfway part between the ankle and that thick part of your calf. Staying one with your breath. Trying some of that internal rotation. And some of that external rotation. My trend remains the same on this leg. It's definitely on the internal for me. Not too much happening on the outside for myself, but you might find that there is. And then don't forget to go just above the ankle. And for that one, you're likely going to need to lift your hips off the floor. But if just resting your foot on the ball and even just pointing and flexing gives you enough of a party down there, then you can do it like that. The tennis ball is a little bit more malleable, so it's going to pop out probably and slide away a little bit more than, let's say, a lacrosse ball or an actual massage ball. So don't become too annoyed with that. Just kind of deal with it and put it back in as it rolls away. Awesome. Let's do another 10 seconds here on the calf. And always go back to the spots that you feel the most benefit. So you kind of like are doing a little bit of an examination on the area, and then you're going to go and hang out in the spot where you're feeling the most tension. Good. And then we're going to move to kind of the just above the knee. Okay, so it's sort of where that quad meets the knee, meets the IT band. Try that outer part of the upper thigh. Lay down and try to put some pressure on that ball. Slowly move it up a little closer to your hips, testing out the zones, seeing where you find the most benefit. And then trying that internal, kind of making both your legs into a figure four. And then lowering your chest to the legs or to the floor and adding some pressure to that inner thigh. We'll do another 40 seconds here, wherever it's feeling good for you. And then we're gonna finish with one thing on your back for the neck. Awesome, let's go another 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, we're gonna take your ball. Lay down on your back. I'm yawning because this makes me feel tired. It's a good thing to do at the end of the day. So you're gonna take the ball and you're gonna find that kind of knobby part in your neck at the top of your spine, okay? And you're gonna place the ball on just outside of that knobby spot on the right, okay? On the right side of your neck. And then you're just gonna gently drop your body weight into the ball and press it against the floor and kind of roll around. You're looking for any tension point parts in your neck, okay? So you can kind of move the ball up closer to the base of your head. And remember, you don't want to roll right on the spine, you want to roll right next to it, okay? So closer to the base of the head, and then you're also going to try closer to the attachment at your trapezius muscle, so the upper part of your shoulder and back there. And just kind of roll around, see what you find, if you find anything. And then you can also just press and hold. You can relax your legs to the floor. Open your palms to the sky. Breathing in through the nose. Big exhale. Through the mouth, allowing your shoulders to melt into the mat on every exhale. Big inhale. Big exhale. Again, you can bring motion in there. For me, my sticky point is always the attachment of my traps to my neck, to my spine. And so I always find a lot of grindiness in there. So yours might be at the base of your head more. Play around with that. See what you find. And then we're gonna move it onto the left side. You're gonna do the exact same thing on the opposite side of your spine. Again, try to drop your body weight into the floor, breathing in through your nose. Big exhale. Good. Breathing in through your nose, feel your diaphragm. Big exhale. Roll it out. Awesome. Try again, closer to the base of your neck, your head. And moving it a little closer to the spine, see what you find there. Let's go another 15 seconds, looking for some trigger points. Awesome, let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I want you to take that ball and put it right at the base of your head. And you're gonna find that part of the base of your head, and then you're gonna relax your head on the floor. Open your palms to the sky. Relax the muscles in your face. Push your body weight down into that ball and hold. This particular part of your neck connecting to the base of your head can be a trigger point for kind of stress, irritability, moodiness right here. There's lots of connection to those kinds of things at this particular trigger point on the body. So take a big breath in. Big exhale out. 2 more, big inhale. Big exhale, push your head into the ball. Big inhale. Big exhale. And our last 10 seconds in holding. Relax the muscles in your face. Become expressionless at your mouth. Quiet your heart for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, you're gonna take that ball out of the base of your neck and rest your head on the floor, just for a moment. Move your head left and right, left and right, chin to the chest, rotate that head to the back, chin to the chest, bring length to the spine, rotate that head to the back, and then bring your head to neutral. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, and then come on up to seated. Oh, I'm ready to go to bed after that. Well, thanks for hanging out and stretch. I hope you grabbed a couple new ideas there with your band and with your ball. I'll be back with some other stretches and different muscle groups with these exact same tools in another little while, maybe a few days or so, maybe next week. Good night, sleep tight.